Woo! All right, I'm going to pass something out, but before I pass it out, I want to tell you what it is and how I'm going to go about doing it, and I don't want you guys to panic because I'm passing out to you something that's thick. Follow me on that? So this is our semester review packet. Well, you don't have to take one. But, so what I plan on doing this is I will dedicate, starting tomorrow, going in order, the first 10 minutes of each class to answering questions on it. Now, don't go. What?
Are we turning this in?
Yes, you are.
For
Everyone else
points or
is.
for extra credit?
What would you like? Points fine.
Can we do it for
Points
extra
fine.
credit?
No, we'll do points.
Say points.
Yeah, I want it. No, points. Jay.
6.
I did three.
Surely. All right, so I knocked out the blue forest printing this. So put this away, but continue to bring it back with you because the first 10 minutes, starting tomorrow, of each class up until we go and take our exam, unless we have a quiz on that day, we will answer questions about it.
So we have to
It's up to you how much you want to do. Okay? But no, I will tell you what I'll use it for.
Wait, are we doing Unit 7?
So, if you become that student whose grade is in the 89.2 to 79.2, 69.2, or the 59.2 group, if you fall into that group, I am expecting that to be completed by the end of the semester.
So this is points.
Yes.
What if you don't, then it's not?
Right.
What if you have like a,
But
what if you have like a 90 point? Just a 90.
Well, that's an A. That's.
But like that's
I would say
very-
once you see your grade posted after the final exam, you know, we're going to go through and do most of this together as a class. I think the other less than most you could probably complete. Okay, deal? All right.
Amazon has answers.
Yes, you can just copy the answers right off the back, and then you wonder why you do QWERTY on the test. Wait, he's on to us. All right, let's answer some questions about J.
All of it.
All of it's probably not where we need to be.
How about
Number 4 was the first one, and it was 6J. Yay, number what? 6? 4? 4, then 6? All right, sounds like a deal.
It's nothing.
Okay, problem number 4. Problem number 4 is set up for us to do long division on. We can't go to synthetic division. Why can't I do synthetic division? Yes, ma'am.
It's an x squared.
Yes, what you're dividing by is x squared. Okay, so because this, even though it's a binomial, it's a quadratic binomial, meaning it's to the second power. You can't use synthetic division on it. Okay, so now a couple of other things that you need to realize that are taking place with this. You remember the world of factoring? This is really, we're just doing factoring like on steroids. Okay, that's really all it is. Factoring like the Russians, man. All right, so I got 5x to the 4th. Do I have any holes?
Yeah. What?
Where?
There.
Squared.
0x squared. Oh.
And then I have,
Plus 0.
everyone agree with that?
I'm good at that.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, you're You're good with setup. You're halfway there.
Put it in the second one.
All right, put it in the second one. Why do I put it in the second one? You're absolutely right.
Because there's only two.
There's two terms. So this is a non-mathematical mark, but that's just to tell me where I'm going to start putting my stuff above the line.
5x squared.
Yeah, it's 5x squared. 5x squared goes on top. So 5x squared times x squared is 5x to the fourth plus 15x to the third. And then we're subtracting, right?
Yes, sir.
So those subtract, that leaves me a 0. Those subtract, that leaves me a negative 4x to the third. I stop for a second. Does everyone see why it is a negative 4x to the third? I know
Yes.
some of you are looking going, why is it a 29x to the third? Because I'm subtracting the blue from the red. Yeah.
Wait, 14 minus 15?
Oh, it's 14 minus 15. Oh.
Oh, this is stir.
Dude,
Dude.
you know, every now and then when I'm working with rubber cement, it just kind of messes with me. All right. So, are we okay there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay. So, I'm just going to bring this one down. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
So then we have to say, what do we multiply x squared by to get negative x to the third? Negative x. Everyone fine there?
Yes.
All right, so negative x times that is negative x to the third. Negative x times that is negative, oh, I got to bring that actually down here. We don't really have to worry about this term right now, right? Okay, I'll undo it.
That's why I get almost
Okay.
Wait, go back with it.
10 dots.
Oh, wait, what did I do? Oh, that was in the right spot. I don't know why I'm getting confused. Boy, I tell you. Maybe I should start sleeping at night.
What time do you go to bed? I think you're like an early sleeper.
I think you're an early
You wake
sleeper
up
and then
really
early
early.
sleeper.
You gotta be. You can't be an early waker.
I don't.
and
Are
a
you a
late
night?
sleeper.
Are you a?
Yes, you can.
Dude, I am like a total night owl. I'm in bed by like 8:30.
Actually,
That's way past my bed.
what time do you actually go to bed?
go to bed
I usually get around 8:30, read a little bit, and then by about 9:15 I'm out.
What do you read?
Books.
What type?
There's like paper.
I know what a book is, but what type?
What type?
Yeah, John. Like,
How do you
are
I'm
you
reading.
Twilight kind of
I'm
guy?
reading the latest John Grisham right now.
Ooh, that one.
Honestly, how do you even read? I'm pretty.
I can't read.
From left to right, you identify the words.
Reading I don't like.
My favorite book, the scratch and sniff ones, or the pop-up ones. Those were awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Moving on. Let's get through this. So we're subtracting those, yes?
Yes, sir.
So let's move down a smidge. So this is going to give me a 0, x to the third, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really have to worry about it. This is going to give me a plus 3x squared. Let's bring that bad boy on down. Everyone still with me? All right, so what are we going to multiply x squared by to get 3x squared? 3, okay.
3.
Okay, so 3 times x squared is 3x squared. And then 3 times, that's 9x. And I subtract. What can you tell me? Okay, so this right here is a factor of it. So if I wanted my answer to start writing in factored form, I could start writing it like this. Okay, as far as what this problem is. If I were to multiply these two together, I get this whole underside, less the zeros. Okay? Does that make sense? So when we were factoring, we never told you this, but you were actually dividing.
No wonder we didn't like it.
Okay. 6. Okay. Number 6. We have x squared minus 1, and that's going to go into 2x to the 4th plus 0x to the 3rd plus 0x squared plus 0x plus 7. Ew, all kinds of zeros in there. I know, that's really right. Okay. Hey, how many terms am I dividing by?
Too many.
2. So I'm going to start right here. What do I have to multiply times x squared to get 2x to the 4th? 2x squared. Yay. Okay, so that's 2x squared, or to the 4th, minus 2x squared. Why did I move it down a little bit?
This is a 0.
Yeah, what am I trying to line up? The x squared. It's the exponents, right? All right, so I'm going to subtract these. I get a 0 down there. I could bring that down, but I don't really need to because it's 0x. But then that gives me negative 2x squared. I guess I could bring the 0x down. I don't know if I need it or not. But we'll find out. Maybe we'll just bring the plus 7 down just in case. Is that okay? No, you brought 3 terms down this time. Yeah, but I don't know if I'll have to use it or not. But I was just trying to look ahead thinking, okay, I have an x squared term. What do I have to multiply times x squared to get to negative 2x squared? Negative 2. So negative 2 times that is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Okay, you now see why I brought that 7 down? Does this give us an answer here? Well, I don't have any other x terms to deal with. All right, so let's subtract. Those cancel. That gives me, no, not 9, 5, right? 7 minus 2. Okay? So if I wanted to, I could write my answer. I could say this. If I had x squared minus 1, my divisor, times 2x squared minus 2. Oops, I don't need that yet. Plus, this is where you all start getting angry with me. Plus 5 over x squared minus 1. Where did that plus 5 over x squared minus 1 even come from? I had a remainder, right? Why did I not use that on the last problem? There wasn't a remainder. What else? Anything else? Yeah.
Wait, so do we always have to do, it has to be multiplied by the thing on the outside?
Well, I'm just kind of showing you that this is what it factors down to. Truly what our answer really is right here. This is the answer that I would expect to be shown. But I just was trying to show you that if you were to take this and multiply times this, you would get underneath. Okay?
You over 20, please.
1 T. 1 T.
Yeah. You need me to read it to you? You got it.
I got it. Thank you, though. Oh, okay. Number 20. They tell us that we have, so I'm just going to write this out. Okay. So, what are we going to do with the k equals 8? It's a synthetic division problem. Totally. Okay? So, I'm going to divide by the 8. Hey, so when do I switch the sign? Yeah, what's in, like if it was x minus 8, that would mean divide by 8, positive 8. Okay? But they're just saying divide by that. Okay, so I have a 1, I have a negative 11, I have a 14, and I have an 80. Still with me? So the magical term comes straight down, get an 8, negative 3. When I combine those, negative 24, negative 10, negative 80, 0. What can you tell me about 8? It's an x-intercept. It's a solution to the problem. So I want you to take a look at this real quick. This would be from this binomial. Is that okay for me to say that?
Yes.
Okay. So these answers says factor completely given that. Okay. Factor completely. Remember, like if we factored x squared minus 4, that's x plus 2, x minus 2, right? So that was a form of division. So I have one of my factors being this. It was given. How do we know it's a factor? Because my remainder became 0. Okay? This was raised to the 3rd power, but because I divided it, that means this is going to be raised to the 2nd power. So that means that if I rewrite this, I get x squared minus 3x minus 10, which this now factors to x minus 5, x plus 2. So my entire answer is this. And this is a beautiful problem that would cross the x-axis at 8. It would cross the x-axis at 5, and it would cross the x-axis at negative 2.
We do one more.
Yeah, what'd you feel like? 2-2? The last one. Okay? So this is, so they asked, factor completely. We did. If I were to take this whole thing and multiply it together, go this times this, these two binomials, and then whatever that trinomial is times that binomial, it would give me that whole thing. So we're breaking down these bigger things than x squared. Okay? And 22, we have another x to the third. Why am I not using long division on these? You don't have to. You have, they're telling you, hey, you have that. Now, if I use synthetic division with negative 4 and my remainder becomes 0, that means that negative 4 is a factor. Yeah, and x plus 4 would be the binomial. Okay? So, let's see, negative 4. I don't have any gaps, do I? Bring it straight down. That's negative 4, negative 1, 4, negative 6, 24, 0. Is it a factor? So what is part of my answer going to be? X plus 4. Where do we get that from? Because we knew that k equals negative 4, so we'd move it back over. Okay? So that's one of my factors. So this was raised to the third power, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back to the second power. So now this becomes just a quadratic that we can factor. Who we got? Oh, he is here. Does he need to be escorted? Andrew, your pink leotard
I knew
in the
it.
office.
Well, they changed it to come during fit.
Okay, you feel better about yourself. All right, so guys and girls, can I factor this? Yeah, it factors to x minus 3 and x plus 2, which means my entire answer is this. Okay? So if I had graphed this third degree polynomial, it crosses the x-axis at negative 4. It crosses at positive 3 and at negative 2. Does that make sense for me saying that? Sweet. Okay. Let's go ahead and pass 6J forward. Fold the corner if you need, or if you need a stapler, the stapler's up front.
Sending up, bro.
Yay! Works for me.
I don't understand.
Sure.
No, yo la hago, güey.
I think you and a half is enough practice for you.
Well, I did have
I need more practice on that.
It's on like
Yeah, Stirrup, if I still don't get,
You didn't get the half.
okay.
to like 14.
If you want to finish it, you can. If you want to finish yours, you can have it. Well, I'll give you 4 points if you finish it.
No, you got it. I got other stuff to do now. So.
You probably get 10.
No, like at the beginning of class.
You probably did. Give me a whole stack of stuff.
Didn't I?
I can see an error like that happening. It's
No,
okay.
no, actually no. 'Cause I did a lot of worksheets. Did I turn it in or am I just being crazy?
Well, we already know you're crazy, but just go with it.
Can you just answer my question now?
I don't know if you turned it in. I got a whole stack of paper here. Okay.
No.
All right. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the points in for you regardless if it's in there, and then you're gonna find it tonight. And you're like, dude, It's right here on my desk.
I'm 90% sure I turned it in. So I don't know where
Cool.
it was.
Take it, they just like left the warning.
I was there for 20 minutes.
I don't want to explain my.
Yes,
If I still don't understand the
Yeah,
type
literally.
like the long division,
Okay, now my
how do I
pencil.
understand it?
cool. I will. So, if you're still having trouble, the nice thing is we are doing more of that today. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going crazy.
Sorry. Did everyone get one? Lead. Yay! Meanwhile, you got one.
Are we doing cake
Uh-oh. Yes! All right. For those of you who are writing in your calendars, we will have our quiz, our final quiz, on Tuesday. Got it?
Wait, is that our last one? When is
Well,
our
for the chapter 6.
when is our like the test that we need to take no the one
sophomore test.
the online one.
I'm gonna try. I think I can give it Friday next week.
Ooh, okay.
No.
That's on.
Do what?
Yeah, that's on.
Graduation already.
We have theater. You should give us
My schedule isn't based on it. That's why I record all my lessons. So figure out how we're gonna take it. We'll get it done.
I
Right?
mean, if high school never ends,
All right.
no one really graduates.
I never graduated. All right. So they tell us that the function at 9 is equal to 0. So that means if I were to do synthetic division with 9, I get a remainder of 0. Okay? So this means this is where it crosses x-axis. So this means this gives me the point 9, 0. Is that okay? Which means that this goes with this binomial. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So now, I know that this is going to work because they told us, but they want us to verify to make it work. So if I can break a trinomial down to a quadratic, which is squared.
Do you need a trinomial?
No, a trinomial is x squared plus x plus constant.
So do you factor?
Has 3 terms. Trinomial means I have 3 terms.
Isn't that a polynomial?
Can't you
Polynomial's that.
Oh, I got you.
Okay? Monomial 1, binomial 2, trinomial 3, everything else is polynomial. Wow.
Never mind.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take 9, and I'm going to use it on synthetic division on this. So I have a 1, a negative 8, a negative 120, and a 990. Holy shnikes, this is going to be big.
Wow.
Alright, we didn't have any holes in it, did we? Come straight down, I get a 9. Well, that gives me a 1. Whew! I can make it. Blessing you. 1 times 9 is 9, and so that gives me negative 111. Is that right?
Yeah, negative 999.
That's gonna be 9. Wow, that's not good.
Hang on. I think they made an error on this. I think this is supposed to be a 999. Sorry about that. Okay, so then that makes that a 0. Good?
Yes.
Okay? So that's why this takes place here. We have that so far that we know. But then we have to look at this and say, okay, this was x to the third, so if I put my x's back in, I'd get 1x squared plus 1x, or just x, minus 111. Ooh. What are the factors of negative 111 that add up to 1?
11 and
11 and 10?
No.
No?
That makes no sense.
Incorrect.
No? Okay.
No.
No, that's 110.
Negative 1.
What?
Positive like 11, negative
What?
just a bunch
No.
of ones.
And
Yeah.
Wait,
One.
re-ask your question.
so, can this factor?
No.
No. Okay. Where would we have to go with this if it didn't factor?
Quadratic formula.
Oh, you guys are such wimps. Let's complete the square.
Complete the square.
No. quadratic. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a.
They're all gonna be the exact same type of question.
All right, so I get 1 plus or minus. 1 squared is 1 plus 444 over 2. Did I do that right? So, all right. So I also have x equals 1 plus or minus 445 over 2. Now, I'm not going to go and make this back into a binomial because that's just nasty and disgusting. Okay? But those are my roots. Hey, question. Does 1 plus square root 445 over 2 cross the x-axis? Yes. Does 1 minus square root 445 divided by 2 cross the x-axis?
Yes.
Yes. What would make it not cross the x-axis? What letter? Yeah, if there was an I in there, that would mean it doesn't cross. So that right there is called a, so we have a real solution. The other two are real solutions, but I have a rational one, and I have two irrational ones. Irrational still cross. Okay? All right. Let's move on. All right. They tell us that -6, function at -6 is equal to 0. That's their claim. So let's see if we can make this work. 2, 11, -16, and -60. Can I do it? Can I do it? I hope. What's that? -12. What is that? -1, 6. What is that? -10. What is that? Okay, this one works nicely. I think we just had a misprint on that last one for some reason. I'm sorry about that. Okay? So if -6 divided out and gives me no remainder, what binomial is -6 go with? Being that -6 shows us a 0 as a remainder, x plus 6 is exactly right. Is that okay so far?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this was to the third power, so that means that our answer here is going to be to the second power. Does everyone see how it dropped from a third degree to a second degree? Cool. Let's factor this. It's going to be a 2x and an x. Is that okay? I'm going to have alternating signs. So I would say there's going to be probably a +2 here, a -5 there. Does that work? I know it works to get the -10. -5x, +4x. Does that give me -x when I put it back together? Cool. So my entire factored problem is this. Okay? So if I had graphed this, it would cross the x-axis at -6, it would cross the x-axis at -2, and it would cross the x-axis at 5/2, which is 2.5 or 2.5. Okay? So again, we're just breaking these down. May I move forward? Kai. Okay, how do we find the zeros of this function? And you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean zeros? Okay, so a couple things. Let's keep this in mind. What's my highest degree up here right now? 4. So there should be 4 solutions. Now, it's possible that a solution happens multiple times, which creates your wiggles and your bounces. Okay? Or they could all 4 cross the x-axis, or we could have some that cross the x-axis and some that don't because they are imaginary or complex numbers. So if I look at this, I'm going to factor out a 3 and an x. That's going to leave me this. Do you agree?
I would agree too.
So let's take care of the 0 that immediately expresses itself. I get this. So that means that x is equal to 0. So it crosses the origin. Yay! Crosses at 0, 0. That's my first 0. What should I do with x to the third plus 125?
X plus
It's
5.
x
plus
cubed
5,
plus
x
5
plus
cubed, and then you
Right?
add one.
Because remember, if I had this, if I used a and b, it's going to be a plus b, a squared minus ab plus b squared, right? That's the sum of two cubes equation. So I'm going to get x plus 5. Agree? Is that good so far? Because you take the cube root of both, and then you get x squared minus 5x plus 25. We good there? So am I able to see another root, another solution, another 0 right now? 5. Almost. What does this yield me? X equals negative 5. That's where it crosses the x-axis, okay? So we're finding the zeros of this. We're not factoring it. Okay? So far I know that our fourth degree polynomial will cross at 0 and at negative 5. Good so far? But then I have, let's just change, then I have to take a look at this and say, all right, what do we know about this? Can I multiply two numbers together to get 25 and add those two numbers together to get negative 5? No? Quadratic formula. X equals negative b, so that's positive 5, yes? Plus or minus 5 squared, or b squared, so that's negative 5 times negative 5, 25. Minus 4, a value is 1, c value is 25. All divided by 2a, so 2 times 1. So that's 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus 100 over 2. We okay with the arithmetic? So that's going to give me, squeeze this down a little bit, 5 plus or minus negative 75 over 2. So what do you know about this? What's going to happen?
So there's gonna be an I.
Going to be an I. We also have to recognize that 75 breaks down to 25 times 3. Agreed?
Uh-huh.
Whoa, I extended way too far. Out of control. All right, so I have this. 5i root 3 over 2. Let me pause there for a sec. Does everyone see where that came from? Because that breaks up to 25 times 3, so the square root of 25 is 5. The I came out because I had the negative. So my other two solutions to this problem, 5 plus 5i root 3 over 2, and 5 minus 5i I root 3 over 2. Sorry, I'm squeaking. Okay, so bless you. What kind of solutions are these blue ones? They're imaginary, so they fall into the complex number system. So I have two complex solutions, or zeros. What kind of zeros are these?
Real.
They're real. And I have two real zeros. Okay? These zeros here don't cross the x-axis. So technically we could refer to it as the other term saying they're solutions. Okay? Meaning if I were to plug it back into my equation, it would come out to be 0. It would be a nasty type of problem to work on, but it's going to work. So I have 4 solutions. I have 2 real solutions and I have 2 complex solutions. Here's a little hint. Complex solutions always come in pairs and they're always conjugates of each other. Okay? So if you get some trick question saying, hey, you had 5i as one of your solutions. That means negative 5i automatically is your other solution, no matter what. Okay? If you had negative 2i as one of your solutions, then positive 2i is another one of your solutions. Complex solution always come in conjugate pairs. Okay? We good so far? All right. If you know that one zero is 7, find the other zeros. Okay, so I know that x equals 7. Sweet. So I'm going to go 7, synthetic divide. Bring it down. 6, 42. 42 subtract 29 is 13, I think. Is that right? Did I do that math right? I hope. All right. And then 13 times 7, I get 1, 2, that's a 91. So that's going to give me a negative 5. That gives me a negative 35. And what do we just verify? That 7 does indeed become a root. Okay? This was to the third power, so I'm going to make this 6x squared plus 13x minus 5. We can factor it. Oh, it will factor. Does anyone see it? All right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try 3x and 2x first. Is that okay? And we're going to have one negative and one positive. So this will be a plus 5 and a minus, no. Plus 5 here and a minus 3. Is that going to work? That's 10x. Nope. 6 and 1.
15 and 2.
6x and x, and 5 here, 15 and 2.
No.
Where are you getting 15 and 2?
15 minus 2 equals 13.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work on that. Oh, crud, I can't do the 2x, 5.
16x
It's gotta be the 3x and the 2x. Yikes. That will factor. I just didn't see it right away. That's the same. That's the same. Cool. Let's do this. Why you guys pack it up already? We have 3 minutes. It's not your show. All right, let's try one more. Let's try one more. Actually, what I want to do is I want to do one of these. Talk to me how I'm going to do this. It's long division, right? It has to be long division because that's not broken up. Okay, so let's try this. X squared plus 2x plus 3 into 3x to the 4th plus 0x to the 3rd plus 0x squared plus 2x plus 7. Yes? How many what spots over? 3. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's where I'm starting from. And I'm going to make that a 3x squared. Agree?
Yeah.
So that's 3x to the 4th. Let's see. Plus 6x squared. X to the 3rd, excuse me. Plus 9x squared. Subtract all of these. So 0. Negative 6x to the 3rd. Minus 9x squared. Bring that last term down, plus 2x. What am I going to multiply x squared by to get negative 6x to the 3rd? 6x, good. And then I'd keep going. I still have a little bit more to go. All right, so for tomorrow, gents and my friends, we're going to do worksheet K. Worksheet K. Got it? Everyone happy? Anyone sad? Ladies and gentlemen, what do I want to make sure you bring back tomorrow other than your homework?
The blueprint. packet.
Blue packet. This comes back with you each time. I'm not making extras. I'm not killing another blue force. I already feel bad for the Smurfs that lost their home. See you guys.
Relax, it's all right.